episode of the mystical journey of CNC, and today we have the pleasure of introducing you to Dr. Orit Ben-Yaakov. Thank you for being here.
Thank you so much for coming and blessing me here.
Thank you, and we're in her wonderful space. And so why don't you introduce yourself, tell us what you do, and then maybe tell us also how did you get to where you are today, or what brought you to this.
Okay, so I'm in my credentials, I'm a chiropractor for over 20 years, and I call myself Holistic Chiropractor because early on I knew that I'm not a technician, and I was looking for my niche and my connection through chiropractic to the healing that I do today. So I just want to say that in my practice I incorporate many techniques that I collected.
So just for the little side story, we experience for a while, for a long time. Yeah. So we know about that you incorporate. I mean, there's like the essential oil, just the feeling, and sometimes you're sensing things, and you also. I mean, I remember before each session that I had with you, or probably that you ask questions and you kind of find out a little bit about what's going on emotionally, mentally, physically, on all levels.
Right.
So anyway, go ahead.
Thank you so much for that, because that's, to me, that's the holistic, and holistic with a WH. Because when I see a patient, I treat the patient, and the patient is the physical essence, the emotional essence, the spirit, the soul. I cannot really separate that. And when I touch you, when I come in close contact with you, I affect the whole you. And therefore, I love to work with all the different dimensions. And I love to find out the day you come in, where are you exactly? Because every day is a new day, and we transform from moment to moment. So I never assumed that we're gonna, work the same as we did last time. So it's like a blank page, and you're welcome to come in all transformed and changed, or maybe needing some support. As you mentioned, I use essential oils are with me forever. I actually learned essential oils, not in the States, but abroad for a whole year, and at the Schloss Institute in Israel, and that gave me a very deep insight to the different aspects of the oils and how they work, and I took it further to essence, and I work in a very special way with the oils. They are also helping me and kind of communicating with me of what's going on, and the way that you pick the oils here for your treatments is very unique too. So I really feel that these are wonderful helpers that work, like I said, on the physical, the emotional, the spiritual, etc., and help really bring the treatment deeper. And besides that, I do craniosacral work. I studied that. I went ahead and took another step into osteoplasty. This is a different form, but it's also coming from neurology and osteopathy, and it's working on the fascia and the connective tissues that actually are connecting everything together. So I can, and in my work, I can work on the head when you say that your little finger or little toe is hurting because of that connection. So it's really, over the years, I really, with practicing touching so many people, coming in contact with so many people, I really develop extra senses of feeling and listening, and that's how I work with patients, diagnosing when I touch, a lot of healing techniques, a lot of like touch therapy techniques, and soft tissue, and of course the chiropractic that always is wonderful, and some people would need maybe more of the chiropractic that day, and maybe other people would need different things, but I always work incorporating everything together. So the session of an hour, can be different, but would I would work intuitively, and I would incorporate whatever you need that day to for your well-being, in all respects. And you asked me how
how you
led me to
started
get this,
this.
because we started from the end, but I feel very blessed to be where I'm at right now, doing what I do. I started off by chance, just, I was born off of the Mediterranean Sea in Israel, and I left when I was very young on a trip, and I felt that my love for biology and my ability with my hands should come together. And I couldn't find anything in Israel that brought it.
So you knew already that you had something going on?
No, I'm very artistic, so to me, I love people. So I thought to myself, well, there must be something
to bring together.
Yes, and I loved the biology too. So I was thinking, maybe somewhere in the world, there is this profession that I don't know of that's going to come my way that would allow me to incorporate it too. And sure enough, without me being aware at all, I came into by accident, per se, went into a chiropractic clinic, and I found out about chiropractic. I thought I knew what I'm getting myself into, but I had no sense of what it is exactly. And as I went along with the philosophy that the body has the ability to heal itself, that I loved, and really academically, I really enjoyed, the depth and the whole contents, really went deep into understanding the body, the chemistry, the biochemistry, the anatomy, the physiology. It gave me all the tools to see really deep into the physical. And from that point, as I was graduating, I thought to myself, wait a second, I love all that. I also did, by the way, as I was going through school, I did another degree besides the doctorate in chiropractic of human biology. So that was my intention, to really work with that, and I was so happy to find that the hands are part of that.
So that's still something in Israel, or it was
I studied
Israel?
here.
Oh,
I studied here. There's no chiropractic.
That's what we were talking about. That in France we don't have chiropractic either.
Exactly.
So
very few countries in the world would educate you, because it's not just like a certificate kind of a program. It is more academic. So you really are studying everything that a medical doctor would, but you leave out medication, surgeries. In California, by the way, chiropractors are not allowed to penetrate the skin. So that was wonderful for me, because all I cared about is to give the remove blockages from the body so that it can heal itself. So it worked very well for me. But again, as I was graduating, I was still in a big question mark of what is my place here. And with the years of really, practicing and seeing people and loving people and going through a whole transformation of my own, it's so funny how the universe just brings things your way. I was able, thanks to crisis in my life that brought me into looking into myself as I was transforming myself and practicing what I do. I realized that there is so much more, beyond the physical, that I'm here to tap on for people too. I was able to heal myself from two autoimmune conditions, thanks to that internal work. And I felt very empowered to empower other people as I was treating them, and let them know that there is a way, and that everything that manifests physically has a reason. And I started really coming more into that collaboration between the physical and the essence, the physical and the etheric beings, that we are really working with all the different dimensions of ourselves, thriving to optimal well-being. So we cannot just touch the body and assume we're gonna, or take something like even herbs and think that that's gonna be enough. We need to really make sure that we explore, every aspect of that condition or medical opportunity to heal ourselves. It can be trauma, it can be a challenge, it can be something that's not resolved, it can be a memory or something somebody said that, or any impression that we have that would create a pattern of thinking or behavior that's going to work against us. And the body is wonderful in telling us and signing for us what hurts inside. So that's the way I look at patients that come in. I look at the whole person, and through that investigation and evaluation, as we talk and as I retrieve some information with my senses too, I'm hopefully helping empower that patient that comes in, that there is always a way, and that all we need to do is to get to the source of the symptoms, you know, not chasing symptoms, not trying to treat a condition.
Yeah, not like put a band-aid on something and
Exactly.
like, hey, but
Yeah,
underneath there's be
exactly.
so many things, so the thing can come back. So you're like trying to go deep.
Exactly. Exactly. And I really learned to look at the body as a map to the soul. And it's so interesting how different parts of the body gives us a clue of what is it in the emotional being, in the correction, you know, that we are supposed to go through.
And the beliefs that we have, I mean, whether beliefs about ourselves or beliefs about life or how things should be, and it all reflects.
Because I'm sure that even a lot of people, they're not completely aware, but you know, the body is giving them signs, and then they have to look like you had to do. You had to look within, and it's only when you start doing that that you can.
I feel very fortunate that it just came to me, the help also, when I asked for help, when I was already tired of struggle, and I came to a really low point in my life, then you know how we ask for help beyond ourselves. When we come out of our layers and our struggles within ourselves, we're open to receive help, and that's when all of a sudden things start coming into your life. So for a whole year, I was receiving messages, people would show me things, nothing that I was
just
exposed
all meant to be.
Yes, it was perfectly on time to also prepare me to what I do with people, going through all this transformation and healing with myself allowed me to know, not just to believe, that practical tools
really
are actually accessible, you know, and to help people connect to that.
Really something that we feel when we come to see you, that there is like, I mean, you're such like a kind person, and we can see it as soon as we walk in the room. It's like, but you
also
really
your
have
voice
like an
is
energy
very
and
soothing. Your voice is like,
there's really something. I mean, you're a great healer.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. You know, I was growing up to a very beautiful home, and I think I was very fortunate to learn, you know, to love humanity and love people and be a human being with all the values of unconditional love and lack of judgment. And I think that even if I came out from that condition, I still had to learn to lose judgment. You know, I still had some things to clear in my own being, so that I can allow people to come in and know that they are loved and supported, and they're not alone, and that there is a way. Because I think that the worst thing is for people to feel hopeless. When we don't have a way, when we feel that there is no way, then we are really closed off and we suffocate in that space. And I think that what I realized is that the most important thing is just to love unconditionally. And when you come into a space where you feel that way, then all of a sudden you can just rest in these arms and start all over again from a different point of view or different perception of your condition. And that is very releasing and very freeing. And I can tell you that I learned, and everything that I'm saying that I'm doing right now came with years and years of practice and self-work, clearing and healing myself so that I can be a better vessel. You know, I don't want to say better or worse, because I don't believe there is such thing. I think it is what it is. We just put judgment on it, but in my experience, you know, it's a very uplifting experience to be able to be clearer, more pure of a vessel, so that I can, you know, transmit or just allow things to flow through me to the patient in the most loving and supportive way. And I think that's what healing is. I believe that healing is the ability to give love. We can hug someone without knowing anything and totally transform them in a moment, right? You don't have to have any credentials, you don't have to learn anything to be able to do that. And you know that, you know, a smile or a hug changes the chemistry and the physiology in our body. So that's all it takes. When people feel all of a sudden not judged, cared for, loved unconditionally, and if I can show them how beautiful they truly are, because that's all I see. I don't see the layers, I don't look at the things that are, obscuring that light that comes out. And when I can give that perspective to a person who's totally locked in a darkness, in this confined space, it gives hope and it gives empowerment to be able to break through all these
like
layers.
It's faster healing, I think, because once a person, somebody that comes to you, trust you and let themselves open, like it's that, it makes the energy move.
Thank you so much for saying that. The one thing that is very important when you come into anybody for treatment or for care or support is to feel the trust. And I think that this is essential for you to heal, to completely feel, and that is something I really want to say and emphasize, that you can bring up anything that is suppressed within you. It can be shame, it can be something you don't want to remember because it was very painful, or you're afraid of judgment, just saying some things, etc. All these things that, just make us hold back
and
or
it's
hold
so
in.
common nowadays. I mean, the society, everybody's judging.
It's
even
too
more
extreme
now.
now than it is, but it was always like that.
Yeah.
I think people are very much on the outside, and we really look at ourselves from outside in and not so much from inside out. And I think that's a transformation. If we're able to let go of all of those noises, and be able to tap in to who we truly are, that changes the whole picture. I want to just add on to what you said before, that being able to release, because the conscious mind is a very little minute place that produces reactions, creativity, whatever it is, it is here just to help us analyze things. Sometimes it takes over and it just talks to us all the time and doesn't allow us to, maybe most of the time, for most of the people, to really listen to our inner voice, because it makes so much noise and we start identifying more with the thoughts than with our feelings or emotions. But the ability to put it aside for a moment and elicit, everything that is suppressed underwater to the subconscious, and be able to just have things come up as they come, in the rhythm that our healing takes, and say it out loud, bring it out, even to yourself, recognize these things and understand that once you pull it up from the subconscious to the conscious mind, now we can look at it again. We can maybe look at it differently. We can break it down. We can understand maybe it has nothing to do with truth, but you're carrying it because that's an impression that was imprinted early on in life that doesn't serve you anymore. So to be able to be trusting, the space, and bring out, let out anything that you feel that is hard for you, that is sitting on your chest, that's in your tummy, that you're holding down and off and suppressed. That's the way to really heal ourselves. These are the things that actually make us have symptoms.
And sometimes I think there's so much fear also to let it go up, because there's fear attached to it, that if I bring it up, then it's, and I make it real, or something like that. So that's fear, I think, is, I mean, for me, I know it's one of the things that brings me down, and I think for most people, fear. And someone recently told me that the opposite of love is fear and not hate. And
True.
I heard that it's indifference, but there's something to be said about fear.
Absolutely. Fear is I think one of the biggest blockages in our lives. When we see something like a big wall, dark, frightening, we get anxious, we are dreading coming even close. I believe that fear is actually a marker in our way. That's exactly where I'm supposed to go. Because once we come closer to that dark wall and we start trying to push it or come through it, all of a sudden we understand there is nothing really there. That is just a role that we gave that wall to stop us for some reason. Not a conscious reason usually. But once we are, being able to come deeper into ourselves, like I said, instead of seeing ourselves from the outside in, starting to connect to our center, to our inner voice, to our feelings, to our heart, all of a sudden, when we are more close to that truth, all of a sudden we realize, why is it that we needed that fear to block us, and now the fear is in our way. Let's break through it and be able to free ourselves from that layer that put a block on our progress in life. To be happy, to connect to in intimacy, to feel more, in optimal health, emotionally, physically, anything, any aspect of our lives, can be, affected by it, of course. Fear, it has a role. Once we realize that's all it is, and we understand that, the only responsibility we have in this life is to be able to tap in and listen carefully to our inner voice and follow through. That's the only responsibility. Beyond that, we take roles. We take a role of a parent, of a spouse, or a soulmate, in different forms and shapes. A son of, a daughter of, a friend of, a worker, a boss. These are all roles that we consciously and willingly, and sometimes subconsciously, of course, we take on ourselves. And once we realize that we have that responsibility and we trust, see, that's the word, when we talk about fear, when we trust that if we will tap in and be more loyal to ourselves and more connected, then we cannot hurt anybody else, we cannot go wrong, and all the things that we're so afraid of, are gonna just melt down and stop being something that we're draining to come in touch with. So daring that brings us again to what we were talking about, trust. I think that a trust in a space that you come in, if you trust the healer, if you trust the doctor, if you trust the friend, if you trust, the mother, whatever it is, that is very, very basic to start healing. And, that is something that you want to choose when you go to any practitioner, any healer, anywhere you go, to make sure that you find that safe, sacred space for yourself, to get intimate with yourself, and that practitioner, that doctor, whoever it is, that friend can be a witness and just support you unconditionally with tons of love to allow you to bring these up from the subconscious, from where they're hiding, from where we're suppressed, and start really manipulating it so that it's not standing in your way, because fear can really cause you to be locked away from society, to be at home and not in dread to come out. Fear has so many things that you can do.
That's a very common thing nowadays, especially. It's very like the fear where everybody is fearful of everybody else. And,
And I think often, doctors, I'm again talking for myself, but because there's this fear probably also of lawsuit, but they put you in fear, when they give you a diagnosis and something like that. And so it's so important to find someone that you feel comfortable with and that's not going to go there,
Which is like the same thing we're talking about also with judgment. It's not going to be judging you. It's your body,
and you're
someone
supposed to such percentage or whatever,
Well,
it doesn't mean anything.
It's been proven many times also that it's like the placebo effect. Kind of, where you tell somebody they only have so much to live, and then they die on the day that you told. It's like it's so.
The body is very, very wise.
It's so wise.
If it believes that's the truth, it's gonna coordinate everything. Take all the resources to make it happen.
That's why it's very important to incorporate, like you do, holistic with a W. Just incorporate everything as a healer, as a healing in the healing. Like all the aspects. And I think, there's so many layers. Obviously, everybody has layers in life. I want to find out also how, for yourself, for example, because we're all human. So I know that you probably have days where it's harder, days where. Do you recommend something if for somebody that can't see a healer or doesn't have any healer or anybody that they trust, what do you do, for example, for yourself? Do you do a lot of, like you're saying, that inner work, meditation, and trying to listen inside of what, because it's so hard nowadays with the distractions, the cell phone, social media, emails, everything, you're so reachable all the time, and it's you can be distracted here.
Yeah, it's very important, like you said, to be detached from all the things that might manipulate the way you perceive the world. Because if you really go to the essence, everything is very simple. And we are to trust that we have a spark of God in us, meaning we're so powerful as human beings. Every single one of us has the same amount of power. Nobody's left without. Even if we feel that we cannot, progress in life, we're held back, we're getting hit on the head, from right and left, and we don't see the way. Even if we're in despair, the thing that we need to realize first and foremost that we have the ability to heal ourselves and our lives if we get the information and the insight and expand our awareness, because that's where the tools are. Okay, we can never look at things that are outside of us to rely on, because today they're here and tomorrow they're gone. So thank goodness we have ourselves. And I think that most of us are not connected. And the things that you mentioned, cell phones and the media and the networks that are around us take us away from ourselves. And again, we're going back to looking at ourselves from the outside in. Perception of ourselves is so far from where it should be, so that we feel empowered and strong and mighty to go through anything. Any challenge that would be brought upon us, is easily resolved when we are connected. And that compass of our inner voice is so precious. It doesn't come from something material. It comes from something that is beyond ourselves, our higher self, our, guides, our, some things that are, metaphysically allowing us to get these messages of where and how to find our path. If we got off, how to go back to the path, how to better our condition and our status. And so first thing is really to be able to be at peace and quiet, because I think there is so much noise all the time. Our brain talks to us, other people talks to us, the media, the social media, all kinds of ideas that we carry from past experiences and traumas. These are all things that are playing a part. If you can really take yourself somewhere in nature, somewhere in your garden, even, it doesn't have to be hard, it doesn't have to take effort. Even in your room, just make sure that you isolate yourself and allowed to just be without needing to do anything, to just part. And that's what I do. I go to the beach. For me, that's my, I was born off of the shore. And to me, that's the most ultimate space to just breathe and be and release. The connection to Mother Earth, if you lay down and allow yourself to just detox, and get filled up, your battery can really get charged, thanks to this amazing support that we have under us. And just breathe the abundance of air that's around us. I think it's very important that people remember to breathe. I think this is something that's really lacking right now. And whatever we need to I'm not talking about fears that have to do with the coronavirus. I'm talking about everybody where they're at right now should find a place that they feel comfortable and safe to breathe, in whatever stage they are, even in anxiety. And breathing is going to allow the body and the brain to function better. All of a sudden, all that suffocation, that anxiety can be calmed down if we just nourish our body with oxygen. This is just the most basic thing, but if we can just lay down, even listen to some music, if that would help to quiet down the noise. Sometimes we need to listen to something else and just allow ourselves to do some breathing exercises. I know that Wim Hof has an amazing gift in his method. I really would recommend everybody to look into that. That's on YouTube. It's available. People can really look into that. And I think that it's very healing. His method of breathing, everybody by themselves can do at home and really better their condition and learn so much about themselves just breathing. As simple as that. That would be the first place that I would go. Just detachment, being able to be alone somewhere for as long as we need to really make time for that is going to really make sure that we check back in with ourselves. More quieting the brain and the mind and allow us to feel our body, to tap into the here and now. And I think breathing, when you actually do the inhaling and exhaling. Inhaling through your nose, exhaling through your mouth, and placing your hands down on your lower abdomen.
Make sure you're breathing from
You
here.
want to make sure that your neck is relaxed, laying down, just relaxing everything. Allow your upper chest to relax, your shoulders to relax, and just concentrate in breathing into your core, into the base chakra. That's where we don't usually go. And doing that and bringing everything lower is going to calm us down. It's going to allow us to really balance and refresh and bring a lot of life force to all the cells. And they know what to do with that oxygen. They know what to do with this frequency that we just introduced the body. And I think that's going to be a great place to come out of and start again, coming out to the world. That would be my, generally the best recommendation right now. You can always use essential oils like lavender.
Yes, of course.
Bergamot. These are wonderful to just come down the mind. The lavender is an amazing relaxer and heart toner. Different essences connect beautifully to our inner being and our physiology, not only by the traits, every single one of them, but also because when we breathe, when we use that sense, and that's why I love essential oils, one of the reasons, it connects directly to the frontal lobe, which is responsible for, processing our emotions, our thoughts, our memories. So immediately when you breathe, when you inhale a fragrance, an odor, you remember something, you feel something, you have a response to it. So make sure you can test different smells and see, what do I like? What makes me feel happy? Maybe citrus.
It's so funny because we talked about bergamot and a different thing, and just it brings for me, I don't know if, but we had grandparents and the specialty of the region they're from is like the bergamot candy. So it always reminds me of that. So it's a nice memory, but it's also a happy smell. Like it, it's joyful.
It makes you feel something.
Yes,
right?
it's
Make
uplifting.
Sure it feels
to me, it's uplifting already because
exactly
it's a memory, but it's also an uplifting.
Thank you. So imagine yourself laying down, breathing, taking the time first of all, because this is really essential. This is self-care. Okay, it has to do with self-love, and we can go on and on about that.
Yeah, of course.
That's it. But if you can take yourself to a space where you feel relaxed, and you even put a candle on, or even without it, but just inhaling something, or putting on your chest or on your wrists, this smell that makes you feel uplifted, reminds you of this candy, or that smell that really, and bergamot specifically, comes down the mind, the hyperactive mind. It's great for hyperactive kids to put in a home and just dispense it to the air. But that really gives you a sense of happiness and calmness that would provide you more of that space to heal yourself as you breathe. So every little thing like that, you can take a bath with that. You can really make sure that you're surrounded with all these reminders that everything is okay. Just pulling you to the moment, and as you breathe, just feeling your body, checking in. How is my body feeling today? Is it hard for me to breathe all the way down? Is my diaphragm tight? Maybe we should just send more love and abundance of oxygen that way. I can relax it and allow it to work better, and you can really actually see a difference physiology and, chemistry-wise. You actually change the condition of your body, your emotional being, just by doing simple exercises. This is just an example of something you can do for yourself.
Well, it's interesting because right now I'm reading a book called Breath, and it's a journalist, I don't remember his name right now, but he's doing this whole study, and he said that a lot of people have lost the ability to really breathe, and I mean, it's really interesting. It goes into the physiology also, but it's so simple, and it's something we can all do because we have nothing. We have nothing to go and get somewhere. It's just there with us.
The freedom. I think it resembles that freedom. Remember that we can breathe. We are allowed to breathe, and we're entitled to breathe. That's our righteousness, right? We forget sometimes. We're busy. We're frightened to be sick. We're frightened, for our future, for our economy.
And I think sometimes you don't even realize. I'm like, oh wait,
did I breathe?
You know?
Wonderful.
Yeah,
So
those
whenever you
moments
catch
where it's like,
yourself
oh.
when you're breathless, you just pause for a moment.
Yeah.
You say, okay, I'm coming down.
Yeah.
I'm coming in and present with myself. I'm checking back in with my body. This is a reminder. Thank you, body. You reminded me that you existed. I need to take you to the journey with me. I can't leave you behind. So then you just take a breath all the way down at ease, no effort, and just remember how wonderful it is to just be. Yeah. We forget about that.
Yes.
We're not just being. We always do something. We always are thinking of something that was or will happen. We never are. I think this is the most challenge we have, is to be present in the moment.
Present, for sure.
Right? But that's where all the wisdom lies. Because when we're present, we can balance, we can send more, life, we can revive, we can detox, we can do everything that's needed if we just pay attention for a moment, check in. Yeah. Also feeling, how do I feel today? Yeah. Do I need more uplifting? Yeah. I'm going to go and get an acai bowl or something else that would make me happy. That's how chocolate. Chocolate is a wonderful mood elevator. It has everything to do with, it's wonderful. It strengthens your bones. It's a wonderful antioxidant. I give you permission and a prescription to eat a lot of chocolate, and especially dark chocolate. It has so many wonderful, wonderful abilities, physically as well as emotionally, to really uplift you, strengthen you, and support you. And it is really amazing what it can do.
We love hearing that. I think we're probably not the only ones. There might be people.
Yes, please know that, and do that with all your heart. Don't have any second thoughts about it, because I think that's
the guilt. The guilt is the one that is everything.
If you eat everything with happiness and containment,
I think it comes back to the moment, being in the moment present, because the guilt comes from in the future I'm going to be fat because I enjoy that chocolate.
Yes, and I think that rules us, right? All these feelings of again, like guilt and shame and being dreadful. I think these are actually affecting, everything, when they're really not necessary. We just, for some reason, decided to attach it to that incident, to that eating chocolate, And when we understand why do we do that, then we can let it go. That's as simple as it gets when you actually acquire tools for, transformation. And all these tools are available. We just need to ask for it and want it. And decide that that's it. I don't want to do this anymore. I'm sick and tired. I want to create a change, and I don't need to have a crisis to do that. Usually we grow from crisis. Yes. I'm grateful for all the crises that I've been through.
That's a common theme that we were talking about. Almost every person, including ourselves, the way to become aware and have that spiritual awakening of some sort, is always like a crisis, or to have oh wow, a realization.
But I don't think it has to be, though.
It doesn't have to be. But I mean, a lot of people have to go through this. But it's not
so
necessary.
Again, once you start, and usually that would bring that awakening. But then we have a free choice.
Yes. Yeah.
We can stay awake,
for sure,
and we can want the change, or we can just refuse to change and wait for the next crisis. So again, we are free to choose, and we're more free than we know that we are. And I think once you realize that, all of a sudden you feel less suffocated. Every condition, everywhere we're in life, can be changed. We just need to want to do that and get the tools. If we are not empowered to do it ourselves, reach out for tools. Go to healers, go to doctors, go to psychologists, go to coaches or mediums, or channelers, medical intuitives. You can do everything that you put your heart and soul into, everything that you are desiring. And I think that's something to really cultivate. That desire, that fire for life, is not always easy to feel, And I feel that a lot of people that come through my door are lacking that fire, that poise, because they're depressed. Because things are not going well for them, either they have some condition that they were diagnosed with. And I wanted to say something about that, by the way, that I think that people don't recognize how much power they have with our words, and we need to remember never to accept any form of title. Any diagnosis, any time frames or anything that really confine us from connecting to our own power, because whoever is deciding what's going to happen and whatever brought itself, you know, that challenge is us. So we can change everything, you know. That's looking from the outside in again, like we said. So when a doctor said, like, I'm taking that's a great example. When somebody says to you, you have 3 months to live, adopting that belief system, again, this is acquired out of choice, then you take on that death sentence and you maybe will follow through executing it. But when you realize that you're not to be titled with anything, and any diagnosis we can heal, then you don't give the power to the diagnosis, you take the power to your hands, and you know that anything that your body created or you know failed to create, it can heal itself. We're constantly just this being of frequency that can change momentarily.
And it gives you so much more power.
You know? So I think that's what I'm trying in my practice to do, is to allow you to take back your power to your hands and realize who you truly are, because I think we just don't know. And I think this whole life is to find that out, right? That's the mission. We're here to just find out who we truly are after we got all these ideas from the outside of who we are, and we acquired and we adapted so many belief systems.
For sure.
But
and all the people that want to put you in a box, like, okay, you're born here, you're a woman or a man, and you do this. This is what you're supposed to do in life.
That's definitions,
Definitions. And it's like, no, who is this person or this society putting me?
Even like one of my very good friends was diagnosed with cancer again, you know, after 4 or 5 years. And we were talking, and my mom was there, and she was saying my cancer. And my mom said, don't say my cancer, it's not your cancer, you know, just say the cancer, you know, it's just so that you don't attach to the disease, you know, because
that's a beautiful way of
I
manipulation of ideas, right?
Because otherwise you're just taking it in, like, you know.
Well, and sometimes we adopt when we take in something that serves us. So finding out, why do we take it? Why do we attach it to ourselves? Is there something that we gain from it? Is there something that we rely on that we cannot live without? Maybe there's attention there, maybe there is something else that we gain.
Like for physical ailments or disease or that, but it also for beliefs that we have to act a certain way, and or we have behave, you know, or you know, it's a whole thing. I mean, we can talk for another hour. So I have to, but it's really like, I mean, comes down to the same thing.
Even saying I have to. I'm just gonna close with that. Is something that we adapt as a belief system. We don't have to do anything. We choose to, we desire to. Once we start changing our language,
you get the power of the words.
Sometimes. I get to.
Yes, that's beautiful. These words, freeing, you know, I think freedom and understanding that you're never locked in this dark space. This is just lack of awareness, lack of tools, and there is always a way. And I want people to really understand that everything that happens in life is perfectly meant to teach us who we truly are. And once we take that choice to grow from it, the sky's the limit. And we'll be amazed of the possibilities that are endless, that are opening up, and the potential that we have to heal ourselves, to help others heal, to empower others. And what we're here to learn, we're here to teach. So I think that is a beautiful thing, that if we really always look at what is the possibility here. Yes, I have this crisis. Which lesson am I in? Oh, I feel I did not finish the lesson that I started, and this is just a continuation. Once you realize where you're at and you embrace it, and you have gratitude towards the challenge, then just asking for tools is easy, and then coming out of that challenge more empowered is wonderful, because that really, through experience, not just reading books or meditating, you really experience and embed it in your body, in your soul, in your mind, and you feel empowered. And then you can go to the next challenge feeling more capable of handling and
I think that's a beautiful way to kind of, and I don't know if you want to add any other message, but everything you said so far was like beautiful. That last one was amazing.
And if you're in the area, I really recommend you come and see Orit. We'll have her info so that they can contact you. But really because we've had the experience. So.
Yes, thank you. And I was blessed with you too. And you know how much I love you, and I love what you bring, and I'm grateful. You know, being a healer, being that person that is, you know, seeing and working with people, allowing me to have this platform to even express, or maybe give some clue, or maybe give some light to anyone, wherever they are, in whichever situation they are right now. It's just a temporary thing, and there is a way. I want people to know that everything is possible, that nothing is really dawn on us, that things are always working perfectly as planned. And there is always a wonderful plan for us. And thank you so much for being such beautiful people in my life, patients, friends. I love you dearly. Thank you for everything that you're doing for all of us with this with this program. I'm so grateful for having a voice here.
As well as educating others, which is great.
Yes.
Thank you for being part of it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.